What's up guys, this is Sheldon. Welcome back to iOS tutorials. It's been a while I was not able to upload videos. I'm really sorry about that. So today, let's do something awesome. As you guys can see in the title, today I'm going to talk about something related to JSON downloading into TableView. We're going to use Swift 4. So in this video, I will also explain to you guys a little bit about the iPhone 10 or iPhone X design, which is basically taught by WWDC video that is released in this fall after this iPhone 10 review. So after that, I will also show you guys I will also show you guys my teaching plan since this all new Xcode 9 and Swift 4 is already released. We should most likely spend like 90% or more time on the Swift 4 as well as Xcode 9 from now on. So let's get started and let's start programming. So here we are at the Xcode, the whole new Xcode 9. As you guys can see, the default deployment target is already set to be iOS 11. Check our whole new simulator for Xcode 10. And I'm quite excited. I don't know about you guys, but this will be the first peek of the new Xcode 9. So starting from today, which is September 20th and 2017, you guys can already start downloading or update your existing Xcode directly from the App Store, so you don't need to worry about using developer account to download this software. So it's already ready for you to download. And I've just created an empty single page or single view controller application, and let's do something. So first, let's go to our main storyboard, and we're gonna have a whole new view controller here. Looks like they have separated the banner of the view controller apart from the main view. Okay, it doesn't matter. Because we're gonna do something related to table view, let's drag and drop a table view here, and let's define the table view with the whole size from edge to edge. Okay, this is the whole new property that is related to the to the iPhone 10, which is called inset to safe area. I will explain to you guys later about safe area, but for now, let's just uncheck this box. Okay, so we have our table view, right? We're gonna need our cell, and let's drag a table view cell here. So we're gonna do some JSON downloading. So I prepared the link just as what I did for when I do the JSON downloading for the Swift 3 tutorial. We're gonna have an actors array. So actually, let's copy and paste this response. Online JSON viewer, and if we paste the data here, we can see we're getting an array of actors. The first guy is called Brad Pitt. Everybody should know that. Just some detailed information and include avatar for Brad Pitt. So if you open this link, we can actually get the exact image for Brad Pitt. Will Smith, I guess we copy and paste the whole JSON data. The last one should be Will Smith. Okay, so that's what we're gonna parse to our table view, and let's start doing it. Okay, switch back to our table view. We're gonna have our cell, and let's actually put an image view there to show the avatar. Let's put 0, 0, 0, and let's have the width to be 50. That makes sense. And let's make two labels. So yeah, let's do the label as well. So we're gonna have 8 on top edge, left 15 and right 0. Okay, and height 21. And for the second guy, the second label, we're gonna have left 15, right 0, bottom 8, height 21. Yeah, it's already updated. Cool. So we're gonna put the name here and probably the DOB here. Okay. So now let's create a cell class. New file, Cocoa Touch, UI table view cell, and just let's call it actor cell. Okay, actor cell is created, and it's actually an UI table view cell, as you guys can see here. And let's go to main storyboard, Command Shift and O, open actor and hold Option and hit actor. This way you can directly select actor here, and then hold Control. We forgot to set the class for the cell. Yes, this cell will be actor cell, and we're gonna have a reusable identifier. Let's call it cell. If now we open this, we can find actor, hold command or hold option actually, and then we hold control and drag the name label, the DOB label, as well as the image img view. Cool. So we're having our cell, we are having our table properly set. So we are good with the UI elements, and let's first download our data, right? So let's copy and paste the link. Okay, so it is worth noting that this init with string is actually optional, so we'd better to put some A flat later to check it. So let's first make some function to download our data, right? Download JSON. We are gonna download whatever we are planned to download. Okay, so we're gonna use URL session dot shared session dot data task with URL, right? But we're gonna need some completion block, so we're gonna use this one, download data with URL, which will take this URL. So we're gonna need to input a URL here, but like I mentioned in the beginning, this URL is actually an optional URL. So let's define guard let download URL is equal to URL, else we just return, right? So we are making sure this download URL exists, otherwise we will just simply return and do nothing. And now we're gonna put our download URL here, and we will use our completion handler that includes data, URL response, and error, right? So we're gonna have a tuple that contains data, URL response, and error, and at the end we're gonna use resume. So this downloading is like a continuous process. So if you don't put this resume here, it will just try to start downloading in the very beginning, and at the end of the day nothing will be returned. So make sure you don't forget to add resume here. And so here we're gonna download something. Let's actually print something if we are able to download anything. Downloaded. Okay, and let's put this function download JSON into our Viewdidload, and let's remove this. And let's simply run it in iPhone 7, let's say. Just skip iPhone 10 for now. Cool. We're having our tool simulator launch, but there will be an error that says we are requesting an HTTP instead of HTTPS. So Apple thinks it's not safe at all. So we're gonna do something as we did in the info plist. So we're gonna add one row and let's scroll up a little bit, called app transport settings, and inside of it we said allow attribute load, and we always said yes. So in this case, it will also load HTTP as well. I mean, this is not a safe solution because HTTPS is actually much safer than HTTP. But as you guys can see, we are printing the download, which means we found the data, which is quite good. Okay, so first, let's come back to our cell class. Probably, yeah, let's change the name, right? We don't want to make actor. Actually, we want to name it like make more sense, like actor cell. But for now, we need to go back to our storyboard to change this cell to actor cell. Otherwise, it will crash. Okay. So why I'm changing this? Because I'm gonna create a file called actor, and this will be the model of our downloaded data. So we're gonna work with kind of MVC. So we're gonna use a model for actor that will match all the names here. Takes everything. Okay, so we're gonna have a name. Let's do let name, which will be a string. Same thing for description. Okay, so we have finished naming all the properties of this class, and we need to put an init function that takes name and image. And we're gonna init all the values like self.name is equal to name. So what we're gonna do actually, so nothing seems different from Swift 3 except we're gonna confirm to the new protocol, which is called Codable. Codable is like where the magic will happen, and it will help us to make our JSON make our model so easily generated directly from JSON. Okay, so if we switch back to view controller, we can see guard let data is equal to data, arrow is nil, and URL response is, this URL response is not nil. Otherwise, else we're gonna just return and do nothing. Or we can print something like something is wrong. So by writing this line, we are trying to make sure we have got data. Error is nil, and also the URL response is not nil. So next, we're gonna use the data. So stop crying, and we're gonna put this line here, and let's use data. Similar as what we did using NS-JSON serialization, we still need to do try and catch. Or if we're using an optional thing, we don't need to catch. But what we're gonna do is, so first define decoder, right? This is the whole new thing. Let's use JSON decoder, and we will let first will be try decoder dot decode. So we're gonna take data, right? We have downloaded this data, but we also need to define a type. What will it be? We will need actor dot self. So the syntax might look a little bit just weird, but this requires a protocol or a struct that confirm to the Codable protocol. And actually we have our actor confirmed to the Codable protocol, and also we have a sequence that actually conform to the Codable protocol if every element is conforming to it. So we're actually making sense. So let's also print something wrong after downloaded. So if we run our project, we're gonna see, oh, cool. Something wrong after downloaded means we're downloading the data, but actually something is wrong. So what could be the reason? Yeah, so I see what's going wrong. Probably you guys also catch it. We are having actors here. That's the very first layer. So it's not like we are directly getting an array. If we come back to the JSON viewer, we are actually having one more layer, which is a dictionary. So it is fine. Let's define another class called actors, which is codable. Of course, we need that to be codable, and we will have an array which is actors, and which will be an actor array, right? And if we write an init function, it's gonna be actors, actor, array of actor, and self.actors will equal to actors. Okay, so if we come back to our view controller, this will not be actor array, it will be actors. And let's download it now. If we rerun our project, okay, cool. So it's printing out the JSON loading Swift4, which is our project name .actors, right? That means we successfully downloaded data, but let's actually print something useful like actors.actors first guy dot name. Remember who's the first guy? I think Brad Pitt. It will print Brad Pitt. Cool. It's printing out Brad Pitt, which is nice. Cool. So we're almost there. We just need to update our table view. So before doing that, let's define something. Var actors, an array of actors. So what we are doing here is we're defining a local variable called actors, which will be an array of actors. And after we download everything, we're gonna put, let's rename this one called downloaded actors, and we're gonna update our local actors is equal to downloaded actors.actor, right? So what we're doing here is updating our actors. Yeah, because it's inside of the block, we need to put self here. So we're updating this array, right? If you point here, it will highlight the same array, and it will use the downloaded data. And now let's do something for our UI table view. And let's do UI table view data source. That might be enough. Okay, so if you confirm to the UI table view data source, it will require you to input two more functions. First one is called table view number of rows in section, and the second one is called table view cell for row at index path. So these two functions are required if you conform to the UI table view data source. So now let's set the data source to our view controller. If we switch back, we are able to find the number of rows in section. We will return actors.count. And next step, we need to define our table view cell. Okay, so to do this, we need to define cell is equal to table view dot dig table view cell with identifier. And remember, we set this actor cell as the ID of the table view cell. I don't know if you guys remember it, but we do set the actor cell as the ID. So we're making sure we're using the same one. and we need to do a little bit cast here as actor cell. Oh, I mean, we can use a guard that else we're gonna return UI table view. So we have to cast this one into the actor cell. Otherwise, we cannot use the cell.dob label. So we're gonna update the name dot text is equal to, we are using index path.row. We will update the name, and also we're gonna use dob label.text is equal to actors, and also index path.row and .dob. And let's neglect the name, I mean the image for now, and we're gonna return the cell that we just created. Okay, cool. Let's run our project. Looks like the table view doesn't take what we want. We forgot to load our table, I mean reload our table. That's the stupid mistake that I have made, but let's open view controller. And let's actually drag an IV outlet for the table view. Table view. Okay. If we come back to our view controller, close this one, and we now are having our table view. And let's actually put private here, because we are gonna just use it inside our project. Okay, so we're gonna have our table view. We will need our table view self table view reload data. Means we downloaded data, but we didn't reload our table view to show it. And we also will have some issue, but I will tell you guys. We downloaded the data, we assign to the actor array, and it will show some auto layout engine issue. Cool. The app is not crashing, but it shows, oh, UI API call on a background thread. Means we are updating. Oh, amazing. So the Xcode compiler is actually helping us to identify this is where it went wrong. We are trying to update the UI in the background thread, and to solve that, we're going to use this patch q.min async. So by using this patch q.min, we are actually switching, no matter what current thread is, we're switching the thread to the main thread. And if that's the case, we're gonna have our UI updated in the main thread anyways. Everything looks fine except that our table view cell is overlapping. The reason we're overlapping our table view cell because we have this guy at the top space set, this guy bottom space set, but we are not setting the space between these two guys. So we're just giving a vertical space and it will be solved. I mean, the height for the table view is super trivial. It's handled by default. If you don't do something special, it will be giving the correct height, I mean calculated height, if that's the case. Cool, everything works fine except for the images. And actually, let's do something now. So as you guys can know, we will be able to access the image just like what we're doing here, like actor index actor with the index of index path.row, and we can access the image URL, right? This will be a string, but we will be able to find the URL. If we define URL equal to URL string, we can use iflat to make sure this URL is able to be defined. We can use image let image is equal to the data. We can use data, or let's see, we can define here let data is equal to data Actually, let's put this in two separate lines. Okay, so if let this guy is equal to this guy is equal to data contents of URL image URL, right? Then we can use this data to get the image. But the one thing to notice that this data is actually okay. So it's like the syntax for the data in the new version now. It's a little bit different from the previous one, but now we're getting the data, but we should make sure this thing happens in the background thread. So remember, we're using dispatch queue dot global now. We should not use main now. So we're gonna put this in the background, right? And if let data exists, if let data is equal to data, we're gonna define the image with the data. So now we find the data, and we need to switch the thread back to the main to update the UI, as you guys may remember. Otherwise, it will complain. So we're gonna have our cell dot image img view dot image is equal to image. So I mean, the steps may look confusing, but I will explain to you guys. So we're 100% sure we're knowing there will be a string to get the URL string for the image. But because this URL, I mean, the compiler just went crazy. But the thing is, this init function actually is an optional init function that will return either valid or invalid URL. So we are adding an if let to make sure this guy is valid, otherwise we won't do the rest thing. And next step, we're gonna have our data generated, but actually this data, I mean, using contents of URL to generate data is actually taking a long time. If, for example, if the image is very big or large sized, you cannot download instantly. So we need to put this thing in the background thread. But after you download that, you need to switch back to the main thread because we want to update the UI again. So it's like switching to the background thread and then switch back to the main thread. And now let's run our project, and I believe we will have all the images loaded properly. Boom. And also you guys can see it's like it's downloaded asynchronously. It's not loaded like it's not waiting until the image loaded and then load the whole table view. So it's pretty cool. And now we're actually making everything works fine. And if we switch to different direction because we're setting the auto layout correctly, we are able to get perfect results. And I mean, although the footer looks a little bit annoying, so let's do something actual, like TableView dot table footer view is equal to UI view, like this. So in this case, we can eliminate the table footer view. Yeah, so there will not be any extra rows. So let's do a little bit of UI work so that I can demonstrate the whole new design for the iPhone 10, or the issue for the iPhone 10 now. Okay, so let's do it. What we're gonna do is we will set the cell dot content view dot background view is UI color dark gray. Okay, so the whole cell content view will be having a dark gray background color, but dot background color is UI color dot light gray. Okay, So what I'm doing here is like I'm on purposely set up some different color spectrum to illustrate one possible issue that will happen for your iPhone 10. This one looks fine. Nothing is weird. Everything is loaded, uh, just like what we desired, right? So let's go to iPhone 10 simulator. Here we will find something interesting. The first peak looks fine. I mean this gesture is driving me crazy. How can I move this guy? Yeah. So the first thing notice that you have to notice is the status bar. Now the whole thing is the status bar. Compared to what we have for other devices other than iOS 10, iPhone 10, the status bar height will always be 20. So if you hard code your status bar for this height to be 20, you should use that status bar dot height or status view dot height to dynamically define the height of the status bar instead of hard code it to be 20. That's the first thing to notice. But now if we rotate our app, you may notice some issue, right? So first is automatically consider the table view within a safe area. How do we define a safe area? Because the first thing you need to notice is that the whole screen is now having 4 rounded corners, right? If you set your UI from edge to edge, it may cause some issue. I mean, let's go back to our storyboard, and I will show you guys. So TableView, we are not using safe area layout, and for this view, cool. I mean, so what I did is I disabled the safe area layout guide, which is the newly introduced one for managing our layout. After that, you guys can see the issue. So by default, every view controller's view is using this safe area layout guide. But for some case, I mean a lot of case, if you are designing a whole screen experience or whole screen like gaming app, you should definitely avoid that, right? That will be the case. You need to like disable or enable your safe area layout guide. So if you don't do it for the portrait mode, it may be fine, right? But if you do it, you will notice like the images are just cut out, and also the part of the cell is cut out. So which is bad thing. What we can do is we want to keep the whole screen having a good experience. So remember we uncheck this mark. Actually, let's put it back, and we're gonna have this. So first click the table view, and then check this inset to safe area. So let's go through all the view hierarchies. So now in the view, which is the self or the view controller.view, that we have this. If you click here, this looks like a ruler thing, and it will show initially it will have this safe area related margins and safe area layout guide automatically checked. You don't need to worry about that. But for the table view, initially we uncheck this mark, so let's put it back for now. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can see this safe area relative margins still exists. So this means even though you are using safe area, that margins, for example, the margins by default is 8. If you put 0, 0 here, well, you enable this margin, it will be still additional like 8 points offset, or like smaller than actually edge of it, if you check this mark. And next level, if we go to the actor cell, that will still keep this safe area left relative margin while we uncheck the safe area layout. And if we come to the content view, by default, both the relative margin and safe area layout guide will be unchecked. Okay, so it's a bit complicated, but this makes sure this content view is having the same size exactly as the cell size. Okay, so let's quickly run our project with all these current settings. Like we only have safe area enabled for the table view cell. So because last time we rotate our table view like this, and it looks like something is wrong. I mean, I'm really not trusting the whole new auto layout thing for the Xcode 9. As you guys can see, if we disable the whole safe area layout guide and then put it back again, it will give you a different answer or different result. But my point is, by default, it will look like this. Okay, so because we only have safe area for the whole view, it's like the super view considering the safe layout guide or the safe area. All the sub views will of course accommodate to the super view, so that was the case. But if we actually turn the super view's safe area layout guide off, so what will happen? It will show exactly full screen table view. Right, so the table view will occupy the whole screen, and in most cases this one should be preferred because you don't want to just leave those places blank, right? It's also mentioned by the WWDC video that I will post in the video description, that just like official guide for the iPhone X design. So with that being said, if we tap the view, or if we tap the cell, we can see, oh, we are actually tapping the whole cell. Even if we're tapping the edge, the whole cell is selected, which is cool, or which is desired, right? Even if the user tap the edge, it should be selecting. It should be selecting the cell. But like I mentioned in the code, we are actually setting a cell content view color, and then we are setting a background color, so cell background color. So that's why the cell is having a light gray, and the cell dot content view is having like darker gray. So these two guys should be consistent. I mean, the only reason I make these two guys having different colors is actually to show you how is this layout thing happening. So after we change the background color of the cell, same as the background color of the cell dot content view, this whole thing will be consistent. Yeah, we are having a full cell, right? And everything looks fine. Except for one more thing, if you guys notice, there will be this separator for each cell looks like stop here because of the margin. So we can actually easily set that thing up in the storyboard. Let's come here. Yeah, you see the separator stops here. We can, where is the cell? Yes, so separator in set, let's set 0 now. So now we're setting the separator starting from 0. And cool, so now we're having the whole separator splitting the cells from left to right. So this is pretty much about it. I mean, the coding part is done. Now let's talk about my plan of teaching. So as you guys know, our Xcode 9 is officially released along with the Swift 4. So I have discovered some articles already, and I've been watching the WWDC videos all the time since I'm a full-time iOS developer. That's kind of my job duty. I really would like to share to you guys. For example, this whole cool thing of downloading JSON is just blowing up my mind. Just how can you make downloading so easy? You can even delete the whole init function, it will still work. It's like you don't need to init every time with a name, description, date of birth, everything. What you just need to do is just a JSON decoder. it's just like crazy. So a lot of things are added. I really would like to share to you guys. So if you have any idea, like, or if you have any interested topic, you can tell me, and if I think that's a good topic, I will share to you guys or share to other viewers to benefit the whole iOS developing community. And yeah, of course, I will still help you guys on any question regarding the old or previous version of iOS, like Swift 3 to Swift 1. Nobody is using Swift 1, I guess. And if you have any issue with migrating your app to Swift 4 or migrating your whole project into Xcode 9, you can ask me, and probably I can answer that, saving you a lot of time. And also, yeah, don't hesitate if you still want to ask questions on Objective-C, since Objective-C is still there, and I think it will be there for a long time. Like always, the finished project will be uploaded, or the moment you saw this video probably is already there in the GitHub repository that I will post the link down in the video description. And please subscribe to the channel if you would like to receive notice every time when I upload a video. Please also enable notification for YouTube. Also follow me on the GitHub. Hope you enjoy this video, and don't hesitate to comment, to hit that like button, to smash that like button, and I will see you soon in next tutorial. See you guys, bye.